This is wild. Because we're in here. We're here. We're there. And, yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna count myself in. Take a little swig of beer. So today I tweeted, you don't need anything else, essentially. You just need to execute, right? I said, you have all the answers that you need. It's just time to execute. I'm summating it. That's a summarization, but I was talking to myself because today I had a conversation with my friend Kim, who's just a prolific filmmaker. I'm a huge fan of her as a creative, but just as a person. I adore so many things about her, and we're in the process of creating a podcast together. I've been essentially trying to convince her to podcast with me since shortly after I actually became friends with her. But I've been a fan of her for a while. Do I have crumbs on my face? That would be crazy. Oh my God. I do, but whatever. This is me. It's a little after midnight. I am an extreme night owl, so this is still very early for me, but my goal is to do this and then to go to bed. Well, not go to bed. I'm gonna get in bed and listen to a podcast and hopefully be asleep by 2 a.m. because I plan to go to play basketball with a friend at 7 a.m., which means I have to wake up at 6 a.m. because the gym is 30 minutes from me. So we'll see. But let's talk about fear. This is baffling for me because it's not an experience that I often feel. I'm not really scared to do things or be around people or try new things or travel to new places. I've unfortunately been in situations with guns, robbers, gang violence. I'm not saying I'm thrilled about those things or that I welcome them or that I try to put myself in those positions, but I don't often find myself scared. So I'm an entrepreneur by trade, I guess, when people want to classify it. But if you ask me what I do for a living, I just tell people I'm myself for a living. Currently, that includes podcasting, consulting. I work for an artist and their team and help them build out different things. I build events. I own a dinner club with my business partner in Austin that we're also about to move to Nashville. We actually prototyped in Nashville and then moved it to Austin, but we'll be back. I do freelance consulting for independent artists and small labels. I just started consulting for a major label. But yeah, I just like talk for a living. I come up with ideas for a living. And my job is to read and to study and to experience life so I can translate culture to entities who lack understanding about how to assimilate their brands or their artist brands into that culture. So I'm very fortunate, but this was intentional. It wasn't lucky. I didn't stumble upon it. I've been on this path my whole life and been really intentional about this path, probably the last 10 years of my life. I plan on releasing this before my birthday. I'm recording this 10 days before my birthday. Maybe I'll release it on my birthday, but I would hope before. so that I'm in the practice of doing this, but I tend to release a project for my birthday every year. And last year I released a book, and it was called How to Be Excellent, A Beginner's Guide to Achieving the Unbelievable. And it's just about the framework that I use for excellence. And it's called CARE, Community, Accountability, Resources, and Exceptionality. And I think if you have the first three, the fourth is imminent, but it takes cultivating. And it requires persistence and intentionality. And so that's what I did. I was intentional about cultivating my community and asking them for accountability, but being accountable to myself first. And then from there, acquiring resources intentionally, but also letting them come to me as I became the person I was supposed to be. And I think that's amplified my God-given exceptionality. And I lean into that by becoming better every day instead of just relying on my talents and taking those things for granted. So I'm saying all that to say that I'm in my 30s and I have a birthday in 10 days. And I've been running from and fearful of betting on myself. And that's new for me because I own a company called Build Your Own Dreams. I hope you can see that. It's on my knuckles, BYOD. Because I think a lot of people like to dream, and their concept of dreaming is like osmosis or hopefulness. And I think hopefulness is necessary. And I think that once you get things started, sometimes it is osmosis that you just inherit or absorb the things that you need and desire. But by and large, it requires you to see and build this dream. And so I'm a builder, and I'm not scared of it, and I enjoy building. I enjoy learning about new tools and systems and methodologies. But I realized that last year I was dream adjacent. I've had that realization a couple of times in my life, and I had to refocus and rehome. End of 22 through most of 2023 was hell for me. In so many ways. There were things happening publicly to me by people who I considered family. Privately, I was also being sued. My integrity was coming into question by somebody who knew me and knew my intentions, but greed got the best of them. Because of that and the things that were happening publicly, I had to lay off my entire staff of 8 with my business partner. And this is well documented, so I don't want to hone in on this, but my hope and assumption is that this is going to reach a wider audience. So I want to give a little bit of context, but I had a team of 8 with Build Your Own Dreams, but also between partners and the team with another company, we had another business that shut down as well due to conflict. Part of the public conflict was working with clients that I no longer, I'm just in a place now and was beginning to be in a place I'm not going to work with people who inconvenience me horribly, who challenge my integrity and don't want to be equitable in the way that they do business dealings, all those things. It's just like we didn't align morally. And one of my business partners wanted to align with them, which was fine, but I just was like, I'm out of the company. And then my other business partner who co-owns Build Your Own Dreams with me was like, let's try to work it out. And then eventually he was out of that company too. So I lost a lot of relationships, lost a company, lost a festival, lost a party that I had built for years that was actually doing really well. And yeah, just it was complicated. It was a hard 11 months. And I know it was 11 months because I was praying in the 9th and 10th month, God, please don't let me get to a year of this, because I don't know what I'll do. I don't know where I'll be at with me. I don't know where I'm going to be at with you. Yeah, it was just devastating. And I ended up moving, redirecting myself, changing a lot of things, deciding that I just didn't want to be a part of things that didn't serve me. And I was already moving in that direction, but this was something that rapidly forced me to re-examine every relationship and all of my business dealings. It was just like a Mazel Tov cocktail of bullshit and FU. So, yeah, I learned a lot about myself. I was in the process of giving up several vices, but my biggest vice at the time, which was really difficult because typically you want to lean on your coping mechanisms in your hard times. I was learning about friendships and friend dynamics in a way that I hadn't before, because I had really been intentional about building my friendships. But there were people that I had let opt into the new version of me who had not bought in. And a relationship with me now comes with a cost for everybody. Because I had to pay a ton to get here. And so if you want to get here with me, there's a toll to be paid. So yeah, I'm a new person, new mindset, newly developed in who I am. And for the first time, I'm looking at chasing things for myself. And I was in preservation mode for a while. When I moved, I had gotten a salaried position with an artist team that gave me life and breath. I was able to breathe and still chase the things that I'm working on, but not have to rely on those to pay my bills. And so I started traveling and exploring to rediscover myself and decide what I wanted to do. And I was already on this path to be myself for a living, but I'm like, I'm fully gotta be in that. Like, I can't represent myself as somebody else's representative ever again without being my own representative. So I started on that path really heavily in like August, September of last year. And then the final artist that I managed parted ways with me in January. So really there was nothing else to hold on to. It was just all new things, new city, new relationships, new people, or very, very strong relationships from old me now, you know? And so that's where I'm at. So now, like 7-8 months into that process, I've just been traveling. I've been aggregating experiences. I've been learning. I've been trying things. I've been going to different countries, different cities, sleeping in different places, having all sorts of different conversations. And here I am, having decided to start again this journey. I was like, oh, I should vlog all the places that I'm going and talk about being a music exec and how I'm growing and developing. I was catching anywhere from 5 to 15 flights a month, and I have plenty of video footage, and maybe I'll release some of it, but I never vlogged. And today, talking to Kim, I realized it's because I've been scared. I'm scared to take a chance on myself. I'm scared to invest my own energy in me. I'm scared to try because it's just me, you know, with my business, with the artists I used to work with consulting projects and clients. I always get to pour myself into something and magnify it. But what does that look like for me? Even now, it's like I'm sitting in this really nice leather chair that I love, that I got on Facebook Marketplace about a month ago. I've been living in this place about 7, maybe almost 8 months. I moved to a new city but was staying with friends, and then I moved into this place. But I just got a chair, I just got a desk. I gotta get a whole little setup. I got a new phone. I was just like, I'm just gonna lean into this. Even the light I'm using was given to me by a friend who I had told that I was planning on starting this process again. And he was like, okay, now you gotta do it. I believe that was in February, and it's 2 days away from May, and I'm just now doing this. And some people may say that's not a long time. For me, it's a long time because I'm very much if I see it, I'm going after it. And even when I was talking to him in February, his sister was actually interviewing me for my podcast. Shout out to Janae and Josiah. Or not my podcast, her podcast. She has a really dope podcast. And he is the DP, and he was lighting it really well. I'm like, where'd you get this light from? He told me, and I was like blown away because I was not expecting him to tell me where he got it from. And then he ended up giving it to me after we finished shooting. And I've just had this light. I've used it to podcast a little bit. I've used it to light my room because I like how vibey and dim it is as opposed to my ceiling light. But I haven't used it for its intended purpose, which is to make YouTube content. And even before I had the conversation with them, I was feeling this pull to make more videos. And my excuse was like, oh, I don't have an editor. It's not gonna look that good. I don't have a camera. I don't have phone storage. I need a mic, yada, yada, yada. There's nothing behind me. My walls are blank. You see my mirrors over here. It's just blank. I could say I don't have any makeup on, but I just took a shower and I feel amazing. And it's raining outside, and I had the window up, but I listened to it and it was like, it just sounded like static in the background, so I couldn't leave the window up. But I stretched and I prayed and I sat my ass down, and I'm like, I'm gonna talk about my fear. Because a lot of us are scared to start, and it's not even about failure. Everybody's like, oh, we're scared of our greatness, Coach Carter. I'm not scared to fail. Failure is not something that bothers me. It's just a part of the process. I'm an entrepreneur, and I do it full time. And, even with big failures, I don't love them, but it's just part of the process. I don't enjoy being hurt. I don't enjoy the pain, but failure is like tripping. We all trip. It's like when a baby's learning how to walk. It's like you don't get mad when they fall. It's like that's just, yeah. So failure doesn't bother me. I think my fear of starting has a lot to do with being married to the outcome. Again, shout out to Josiah. He's an incredible artist, and we had a conversation maybe a couple months ago, and he was just talking about, it was like a month ago. And he had his first art show, and he was just talking about the way he priced the art and how he wasn't married to the outcome. He was set on the value of his work, and everything kind of flowed and iterated from that. And I think that in my head, I'm married to this outcome, that it has to be immediately successful or beneficial or worth my time, or that feels like a failure to me. Or I feel like maybe all my time and hard work and energy hasn't paid off or won't pay off if this is a long process. But the truth of the matter is I'm learning something at least. And confidence is a muscle that's exercised, and it's resilient and made known by competence. And competence only comes from repetition. So at very least, I can get my reps in. And I talk for a living at this point, whether it's on a podcast or for a client, and I think that there's this pressure internally for me to monetize this channel, which I will. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be successful. And I think about my focus and my handicaps when it comes to editing and all these different things. And with Kim, when I was talking to her about our podcast, she was just talking about her fascination with stream of consciousness media. And I too enjoy that because it's conversational. Even if it's a stream of consciousness coming from a person that you're not actually in conversation with, it's them having a conversation with themselves as I'm having right now, but also a conversation with the proverbial you. And I just abandoned my desire for it to be perfectly edited and really nice. When I first started on YouTube, I think I have like 7 or 8 videos up right now. They don't even look as good as this. This one light and a better phone with a better camera and flipping my camera around instead of holding it up and using the front facing camera is making a difference. And it's dark in here, aside from the light that I'm using, which fits my vibe. Again, I'm up super late at night just thinking and processing life and working on things or listening to podcasts or just being me in my head. So why not share that space with a video that will be put online that may or may not be seen by somebody? I think we make things bigger than they are. It's not that deep, but it is that deep because it matters. And I think the mattering is what weighs us down. But if it matters, it should lift us up, right? I'm not typically an overthinker, but I am a highly analytical person who's very contemplative and very intentional. And because my thoughts flow so freely from my mouth, a lot of people assume that I'm not thoughtful, but it's because they don't understand the amount of time I spend thinking intentionally. I'm very much an introvert, and I think that I'm struggling with experiencing fear in my 30s as a highly capable go-getter, as people would categorically place me. So this is interesting. I'm processing my fear of beginning, and I've decided not to let it defeat me. So I took a shower and I put on my lavender grapeseed oil and grabbed a beer. This is honestly like my second or third. And turned on Thames and stretched for a while. And then I prayed and I opened my window and I listened to the rain. And now I'm sitting here deciding not to be scared anymore. And this is only part of the process because I also have to upload this to the internet. And what if the phone doesn't work? And if yada, 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 yada. It's just like, there's so many things that would prohibit me from doing what should be done. And the thing that I think is causing a bit of urgency to me now is a conversation that I've had with God recently, and an understanding that I have that I feel like was illuminated a bit more by Mace. And he was talking about there's what you do. You will always be blessed as a child of God in the choices that you make. But then there's like your destiny and the divinity of the timing and how God has given you the opportunity. So the word providence, I've been telling all of my friends about this. So providence means that before you were born, God was like, boom, let me throw all these blessings, right? Whatever direction you go in, boom, 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 you're going to hit a blessing. But providence speaks to you being in. And this is a belief system based off of my belief in Elohim. So, but the word providence also is connected to a lot of ancient books. So, I'm hoping that it can be something that encourages you regardless of your belief system, but everything that I'm speaking of is coming from the Hebrew God that iterated as Christ and came to earth, right? Okay, so providence is like when we're in the will of Elohim, when we're walking on the path, our providence, our blessings just line up. So it's like boom, 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 boom. So sometimes when people are out of that will or out of what they're supposed to be doing, they're still met with blessings. So they see that as an ascription, like you're ascribing to the thought process, like I'm still good, you know? And right now in life, all the healed girlies are on the what's for me is for me and what's for me won't miss me. It's very true. However, divine timing means that things flow swiftly and in a way that they're supposed to flow, and you can miss your timing and you can miss your moment of flow by waiting too long or waiting in the wrong place or not moving in the proper direction. So not that you won't be blessed and not that you won't experience life in a full and fulfilled way, but you may miss out on some of the abundance that you're supposed to have. And a lot of the benefits and blessing of your purpose and your calling by overanalyzing and overthinking and not moving when you feel compelled to move, or not moving when you know to move because you're scared. So I can't let my fear stop me, because my fear to not move could stop you, and I don't want to hold the weight of you not moving in the way that you're supposed to because I was scared to move in the way that I was supposed to. So that's what this is about. I'll be more intentional about moving as I'm called and moving as I'm supposed to and moving as I feel compelled to, because that compulsion comes from the spirit that dwells in me, and that's calling me to my next level. And I can't be comfortable being good at what I do and being good at what people see me doing, or good and exciting according to other people. I have to strive for and ascend to my greatness, or else someone else is dwelling in mediocrity when they could be better, greater, abundantly blessed, and existing on a different plane if I just move. And how complicated is me recording this video and uploading it to YouTube, you know? Okay, I gotta release this. I'm done talking. I don't even know if I'll take any of it out, but let's not be fearful. It's okay to feel fear. This is what I heard in church yesterday. My homie was talking. His name is D. Shout out to D. D's who I lived with before I had my own spot, D and N-O. And at church, D said, it's okay to feel fear, but courage is the ability to move past that. It's not a problem to feel fear. It's the issue comes when we embody it and we let it calculate our moves and make our decisions. We all feel fear. We shouldn't move from fear or in fear, and we shouldn't let fear affect our decision making. So here's to me being courageous, because I didn't know that this was something that I dealt with, and I want to have the courage to move past this like I encourage people every day. The ball is always in your court, meaning the ball is always in my court, and I'm the only one who can make a difference in my life. So I'm doing it. We out here. Now you go do the thing too. Okay? Peace and love. Like, comment, subscribe, whatever that is. I mean, there's probably only like 2 of y'all right now, but I'm grateful. It may just be me and me, but whatever. Like, what's good? Like, let's make a difference in our own lives, you know what I'm saying? Because somebody else is depending on us, but right now I'm depending on me to be me and do what I gotta do, because I'm myself for a living. So we out here.